The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break!
with Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It's Thursday, December 15th, 2022, Season 18, Episode number 90. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We're presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Today we talk Jacksonville defense versus the Cowboys offense. We'll take some questions from you guys, so if you have some, you can hit me on Twitter. You can also call us, 888-855-2297. But where we're going to start is where we ended. Let's talk about OBJ. Nick. You want to go? You ready? Got some things you want to say?
You know, it's not like I'm doing anything. It's the owner that keeps talking. He keeps this thing going.
Yeah,
you know, it's like at a campfire. It's like, okay, well, that fire is about to be out. It's like, watch this, and then the flame comes.
Is that how it goes?
I don't know.
I was going to say, when have you been camping?
Yeah, like once. NASCAR. You know,
Yeah.
I camp out there, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm not gonna be roughing it out there. No,
That's not true. I don't
Staying
think
at a
that's
Holiday
you.
Inn
That's
and
not.
roughing it to
That's
Nick.
not Nick. No, that's not Nick.
Sorry if they're a sponsor. I didn't mean to say that.
not anymore. No.
Yeah. Jeez, I'm gonna get a text.
Okay.
Our stream just went down. Like, our stream literally just went down.
No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
When Jerry says this could break, could break.
Yeah.
I think it could. And here's I think what's. It sounds like people are not really remembering this aspect of it. He also said sooner than later, and I think the reason why is just looking at the math. Another thing that's not strong for me, but 4 weeks. If you sign him now, you've got to put him on IR immediately because he's not going to be wasting a spot on your roster. You got to put him on IR. If you want him back for the playoffs for that first game, it's
Now's
4
the
weeks.
time, yeah.
You got to do it now so you can get him back for the playoffs at all, if he's ready to even do that. So I don't know. I mean, I just think that's what I think the sooner than later thing. If this is going to happen at all, do it. And, it's probably the most irrelevant story ever because he may never even play for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we've seen this before, and I think there's so many things that can come into play when you start dealing with these caliber of players and their connection to the Cowboys. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you hit the nail on the head. This isn't original reporting necessarily. This is Jerry literally said it. He was getting into his car and he was like, "Yeah, this thing could break sooner rather than later." That's Jerry is saying this. So if Jerry is saying it, then of course you have to take it seriously. And I know there are a lot of people, and myself personally, I just, as you're looking at it, you're kind of like, okay, either do it or don't. Like, I'm just kind of tired of talking about it. But I think the reason why it keeps coming back is because it seems as though the owner is still very interested in the possibilities here. And I get his point. I think the point of what he's saying is if there is even a chance that at some point in the playoffs, this guy could be healthy and can help you, give you a few plays, right? That is the difference between the team that wins the Super Bowl and the team that doesn't. The team that gets to the Super Bowl and the team that doesn't. It's a few plays, and if you can have a chance to maybe get that out of a player like this, it might be worth it.
He is willing to write the check to try and get it. We always, Jerry always comes on either, the .com side or it comes on the radio at 105.3, and he says, you would be surprised the check I would write. Jerry would write $1 million check if what Derek is talking about is absolutely right. That all of a sudden in a game, Odell Beckham plays and he catches 3 balls. One of them's a touchdown. The other 2 are first downs in the game, and you win. That would be completely worth it to Jerry Jones. Now, to everybody else, along the way would be like, wow. But I wanted to ask you, Nick, because, again, I thought you did a great job on 105.3 this morning talking about it. They got you on suddenly, and you did a great job of handling that. Is this a Johnny Manziel situation with him? And I mean this in a way of where, like, Jerry's lining up and Steven and Will and Mike McCarthy and medical staff and everybody's over there saying, Jerry, time's not going to work. And Jerry doesn't have time for you to tell him that, you know? I mean, is that
Here's
kind of
the
what we're
difference.
dealing with right now?
I think the same type of premise of Jerry leading the charge. The difference is you're not passing up on potential Zach Martin.
Yeah.
like they would have if they didn't
Right.
draft him.
Right.
So it's either take OBJ or air. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's.
Well, the argument could be, listen, you signed T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
Like, Jerry, we've got the guy that we think who's healthy and all that. You know, maybe that's where the argument is. But then Jerry goes, did you ever see that one-hand catch that guy made on us in that game? Did you ever see what he did in the Super Bowl? You know, did you ever see, all this stuff going on? So, yeah, I can understand, Jerry. And listen, I'm dancing with you on this. Yesterday, I don't think I was dancing with you.
You ready to dance?
I'm ready to dance.
You know,
we got to get our math straight. We're going to get our math straight on percentages and stuff. And I don't know if you can really put a percentage on it because I think it's up to the player. If the player was really, really smart, he would take the opportunity to work with one of the best rehab guys in the league and get paid to do it. And if it doesn't work out where the season and like it never happens, he gets money, he gets rehabbed, and now he's ready to make money in the fall. Yeah. It's a no loss thing for him to come in here and sign and take what they're willing to offer him, and with the opportunity of getting him right to maybe he could play in that game that Derek's talking about.
When you started asking Nick that question, it
Start
reminded
laughing.
me. It reminded me of that movie. I don't even remember the name of it, but he's like, "We're going streaking,"
Yeah.
and he goes running, and next thing you know, you see him out there streaking by himself, and
yeah.
nobody's out there.
Yeah.
Only difference here
Old
is
school,
that
I think
yeah,
it's
old school, yeah.
yeah.
Only difference here is that. Why are you looking like that?
We're different.
Nick, you don't want me. Nick, you don't want me.
I haven't
yeah.
seen that movie today.
You've never seen.
Today, like
Today. Okay, yeah. Because I was gonna say that's like right up your alley.
right,
Like that's
right.
your
so
kind
it's
of
just
movie.
funny how it's just like I don't remember the name.
I don't even
of
remember
it,
the
yeah.
name. But it's like, the difference
funny.
here is Jerry can be out there by himself, and
Yeah.
it can still happen.
Yeah,
And
'cause
that's why this story continues to go, is because
go
he
streaking.
doesn't need everybody to line up with him on his side on this. He could just literally say, guys, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And guess what? Everybody's going to have to get in line because that's what Jerry wants to do.
the
Jerry's owner.
I totally agree. I think everything that you said on 105.3 The Fan this morning and your story on DallasCowboys.com, like I say, I've never known you just to throw stuff up against the wall and hope it sticks.
The implier always strikes.
There's something going on here.
The Empire
And you know
Strikes
what?
Back.
I'm like you. I'm walking into the smoke and I'm looking for the fire right now. That's what I'm doing.
Amber, make some sense of all this. I mean, really, make some sense of all this, because I know how you are. You're pretty cut and dry. What do you think of all this?
I'm just sitting here listening to you guys. I'm freaking over it. I'm so annoyed. I cannot express how annoyed I am right now at the whole situation. It's one of those things that you're like excited, and then you're excited, nothing happens, and then you start losing the excitement. Not that I don't want him here or whatever, but it's just like one of those, like, you're kind of getting over it. What's that not fairy tale, that little kid
Old school.
story? Not that one. Little kids, PG-13.
Oh.
The Cry Wolf or whatever.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
it?
The
Is
little
that what
fairy
it's
tale.
called?
Yeah.
Little boy that cried wolf.
Yeah, it's one of those situations like, okay, is it going to happen or not
Or the
gonna
Three
happen?
Little Pigs.
But like,
Huff and
yeah,
puff and blow your
yeah.
house down.
yeah. But the thing is, last night, so I'm seeing the reports, right? And then at the same time, I'm looking at other reports that are coming out saying he might not even be ready for even the playoffs. He might just wait until free agency and kind of weigh his options at that point. So it's like, okay, which one is it? And it goes back to what you guys were talking about the other day, whether like the player himself, whether he actually believes that he's going to be ready or not. Because like you guys said, what would be the holdup at this point rather than sign, get out here, start training? You got one of the best doctors in
Absolutely.
the country.
Yeah.
Why not come out here? So it's very confusing as to what's actually happening. And it's just like, okay, is it worth it? Is it worth all this drama? Distraction. I mean, I don't think this is distracting the players whatsoever and the team and McCarthy and all that. This is all Jerry. But if it's gonna happen, let's freaking do this thing. And if not, is he like? It's just confusing health-wise. Is he even able to play just one? I guess that's really what
Not
they're
right now,
asking
he's
of
not.
him.
Yeah.
At least 2 plays or something
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
Not right now, he's not. But to an 80-year-old man who hasn't seen really NFC championship success in 20-something years, he's looking at like, you know what? I don't have time for you guys to tell me this is not going to work. You know, we're not guaranteed tomorrow around here. You know, and I think there's a sense of urgency. I think Jerry understands what the player can do. I think it's just, can he get everybody else to come with him on it? And it's his team. He needs the player to come with him now.
Yeah.
That's it. He needs to convince the player this is the best place for him right now.
Do you guys think something in him actually in OBJ actually changed after hearing the T.Y. Hilton signing? Do you think that would even affect him?
Are you saying would he have changed his thoughts on what he might want to do after
Maybe.
T.Y.?
I'm just wondering, because prior to that, it seemed kind of like, okay, maybe this is a done deal. It could happen anytime soon or whatever. But then did that signing maybe – because clearly the Cowboys still want him. Jerry Jones still wants him. But did that change something in OBJ's mentality or –
I don't know this because I never talked to him, but I think that he there's two ways you can look at it. He could also say, he said, I don't want to be here for the regular season. I don't need to be. And
that made Ambar mad.
Well, me too.
Yeah,
me too. But you don't have to say that because you're not going to.
Right.
Be.
That's the
all
point.
you could have said is, I would love to be here. I'm not ready to do that.
Yeah.
Then everyone understands that.
Yeah.
But I don't think OBJ, no disrespect to T.Y. Hilton, and be honest, T.Y. Hilton said some things yesterday that didn't sit well with me either. But whatever, I'm old school, I guess. For
What did he say that was?
Oh, he just kind of kept
something like Mickey there for a second.
I'm not going to do
time to
anything.
retire. I mean, I always said if that happened, no, I'm kidding. I just think that's hilarious. I mean, just the point of I just wanted to watch my kids this year. I didn't really miss football. I didn't really want to play. I wanted to watch them play sports. But now that their season's over, I'm ready. I don't know. I just kind of he said it once. They said it twice, and he goes, "Did you miss football at all?" He's like, "Not really." And so it just kind of, I don't know. Whatever. Just go run routes. I don't care. I know that I'm a little different when it comes to that, but I mean. But I got kids too, and you balance it, you do it, and all that stuff. So I just wonder what it's like, and I think back to Jason Witten was pissed off when Cole Beasley quit for an hour at training camp.
Oh, he
came
hot.
back,
yeah.
And then was like, we don't want this guy, and then he saw him run routes. He was like, oh, okay, it'll work. But I mean, it's just the mentality of these guys are busting their ass, and so these other guys are coming in going, all right, well, I'm ready to join you guys. You guys are 10-3. Look like you might do something in the playoffs. I mean, no one's trying to join the Falcons. So it just kind of it's fine with me. It's whatever. But I just wonder what some of the Marcus Lawrences in the locker room think about those comments.
But I will say this, in fairness, he did also say, I'm spending 10 hours at this facility every day going forward to make sure I'm prepared. He is,
you're right.
He is a worker, and he said, I'm here to work. And by the way, I think part of that, when you've been spending so many years, and his kids are teenagers, I think.
Yeah.
When you're spending so many years playing football, which means your kids haven't had the benefit of you being around, and then you have a year where you can actually be around, he probably didn't have time to think about football or miss football because he's so wrapped up in being a dad. Because you know how it is. Being a dad, it's time consuming, right?
Yeah.
And so I get that part, and I just look at it like, are you willing to work now? Yeah. And it sounds like he is a worker. It sounds like he's coming in the building like, I'm here to work, and I'm here to provide what I can for this team. So for me, I care less what you did the weeks before.
And 3rd and 3 against the Jaguars, and he catches a 6-yard pass to win the game, or get a first down. No one will care.
No one cares.
Cool.
Yeah.
See,
Glad you're here.
I think that Odell Beckham has lost all his leverage because we've seen teams now start to sign guys. Buffalo goes and gets Cole Beasley. The Cowboys go get T.Y. Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of in that mode now where people are like, listen, we're moving on. But if you wanted to be a part, the one team that's willing to kind of keep going here is Dallas. That's the one team.
Well, did you hear Buffalo? Buffalo had a statement yesterday. I think it was their GM that said that they haven't closed the door on Odell either.
Okay, well,
so
I
the interesting part becomes are they if it falls to us, we might consider it, or are they we still are in this thing? That's the part where you don't really know how committed they are to trying to get a deal.
I didn't hear the statement yesterday, but if that's the case, because to me it appeared that teams were starting to go away, and Dallas was the one that was just going to hang in there and maybe make this work. So I don't know, man. Like I said, it's one of those things that Odell needs to make the decision, but he needs to make it fast. He needs to make. You start to talk to people around the league about, okay, when could you think you can have him back? And they're like, if they're thinking this is like an 8-week injury or 7-week injury, they just wasted a week.
Yeah.
Where he could have been here on Monday, signed, veteran minimum, and they could have started into the rehab process. Every week that he's not doing this and he's in Arizona trying to rehab, it's not helping him, nor it's helping the Dallas Cowboys.
I'd love to know. I'd love to know if the Cowboys are still interested, as they said they are. Is this thing being held up by OBJ, or is this thing being held up by the Cowboys, or both? Is there some linchpin that's kind of we can't do that, or on OBJ's side, we don't know.
It's the player.
Yeah, I wonder where that lies, because it sounds like everybody wants it.
Well,
right.
There's one person in the world that knows how OBJ's knee really is, and that's him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the holdup is. I think he knows that he's not there, and he can push this on as long.
Well, how hard are you willing to work to come back?
Yeah,
Because if you're out there in Arizona working with your guy, and I'm not saying the guy or the gal out there that's rehabbing him is bad at their job. I'm just saying I know this guy here, being with him for 14 years. I've seen what he's done to players
Britt Brown
to get him back to playing again. And if there's, if Odell was smart or somebody was smart, they would get to Odell and say, listen, this guy is one of the best rehab guys in the league. He is going to work your rear off to get back. Now, the problem is, does Odell want to work to get back, or does he want to do it on his terms? Because that guy, that trainer there, he will go and get in your face and say, if you don't want to do this, I ain't coming out here every day with you.
Yeah, he will not.
You have
care
to. It's not a one-way street with him.
No.
And trust me, 14 years of being around that cat.
And you've seen him. You go toe to toe with Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't care about OBJ. He'll say whatever he needs to say.
Yeah.
And that's the question here. Is Odell trying to come in and maybe join a team? And I'm not saying steal a championship. I'm not saying that, because they got a lot of work to do. But just be a part of something special here. And the Cowboys can also. There's a flip side to it as well. The guy never plays a down for you. It doesn't work out, and then he becomes a free agent. He signs a big deal. You get a compensatory pick.
Right.
So
which is valuable.
It's valuable, especially if he gets a big
the
deal.
way this team drafts, sure. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely,
there's ways to use each other, if that's the right term.
Yeah, everybody can get a little something out of
Everybody
this.
wins.
He could really win if he gets here quick enough, because he can get rehabbed, and then when March rolls around and if he wants to go out, his knee will be ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, he will be ready to go for people. He could actually work out for somebody, and somebody then can give him a big contract.
All right, we're going to take our first break. We're going to come back. We'll jump into the Jacksonville defense versus the Cowboys offense. We'll do that in just a moment. It's DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
Dak Prescott is this year's Cowboys nominee for the 2022 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide, recognizing NFL players for outstanding community service on and off the field. Help Dak earn a $25,000 donation to his Faith Fight Finish Foundation by voting on Twitter. Tweet or hashtag WPMOY Challenge, followed by Dak Prescott through January 8th.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. This segment presented by Blockchain.com. All right, let's talk about Jacksonville's defense versus the Cowboys' offense. Brian, what do they do best on defense?
They will try and knock you unconscious in that secondary. I know that. They. I watched that Kansas City game, and these guys will hit. Now they'll give up yards.
Yeah.
They'll give up some yards, and their best players nicked up. Travion Walker from Georgia is one of their best players. He was drafted first overall.
Oh yeah.
And so he
forgot about him.
He's a good player. They stand him up. They put his hand down. He's number 44. They're going to move him around. They're going to try and find spots where he can rush. I was super impressed with him coming out of Georgia. And you look at him, the length, the ability to bend, finish, all those things. Him, Josh Allen, number 41 on the other side. Those are kind of their pass rush guys. If you remember Chason, the Cowboys in the CeeDee Lamb draft in 2020. Remember the Cowboys were talking about Chason from LSU. He hasn't been playing very much at all. So it's kind of a front that you can pass block these guys, but you have to be able to handle Allen and you have to be able to handle Walker. Those are the two guys. But
those are the edge guys.
Yeah, those are the edge guys. And like I say, they use Walker as he's like a linebacker is what he is. So you'll have him standing up, you'll have him with a hand on the ground. But I know their secondary doesn't cover particularly well, but what they're doing is like they're guys like I mentioned Andre Cisco, the free safety. He is a blow 'em up guy. Rashawn Jenkins is another guy. He's taking the approach of trying to rip the ball out of your hand. Remember last week with Jalen Petrie from Houston, that type of player. They're going to hold you up, try and rip the ball out of your hands, but they're also going to, like I mentioned, try and knock you out is something that they're really, really big on hitting in the secondary. But you see them, they struggle with stuff in the middle of the field, and then they struggle on stuff on the outside, especially when it comes from one side to the other. They leave up a lot of open space there. So if you're thinking about if you could hold up, Cowboys like to max protect those deep crossing routes. They try to do it on Houston in the first play of the game and then end up throwing it to Zeke for that gain, first play on offense. But you could get stuff across the field on them, but you just got to make sure that you protect your front with those two guys, Allen and Walker, and then be very aware, head on a swivel for Cisco, Jenkins, and these guys that like to hit in the secondary.
If you had to say one guy that's the Waldo, the guy that you could go after and exploit, who is it?
I think like when I was watching them play, it was Tyson Campbell was a guy that he's number 32 that they kind of because it's funny.
What position?
He's a corner.
Got it.
He's the corner. Now they have a guy named a linebacker. I need to mention him. Chad Muma is a linebacker. He's nicked up right now, but if he plays, him and Devin Lloyd are the two guys that Devin Lloyd was also a first round pick, good player. I mean, a really good player, but he's kind of learning along the way. Him and Chad Muma, they got a good young linebacker crew, is what they have. But there are times where they get a little too over aggressive. So when you start to say take advantage, ball go. Show one way, ball come back the other way, kind of a thing.
The Cowboys do that in their running game.
Exactly, exactly. And now you got Tyron Smith back over there on that side. We'll see what happens at the guard spot. But man, kind of work behind that group. I'll be interested to see what happens at the right tackle spot going forward here for the Cowboys, because I think they lost something with with Terrence Steele being out and Martin. They were doing a really good job in the running game. Let's see if they can kind of replace that ability. Maybe they could do it with Power, with Peters. We'll see what they do with Ball as well. I mean, we got some practices to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, and I think, this is just going off of kind of hearsay. I don't know what's going to happen, and I know the Cowboys don't want to like throw out everything that they're going to do, but I don't know if you're hearing this too, but I wouldn't rule out Tyron Smith on that right tackle spot. It was kind of flirted around the other day, and I was like, I dismissed it, because he's left tackle. It's him. Yeah. But it really comes down to who can do it, because Tyler Smith hasn't ever been on that right side, and Peters has been there just for a little bit. Tyron did play it 11 years ago.
We talked about that earlier this week, yeah.
So I'm just looking at all options and just kind of hearsay. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe not this game, but when he plays against Philly, maybe Tyron Smith is your right tackle. There's just a lot of options out there.
Well, I wanted to ask you, Brian, about how are they with like getting their hands on the balls and creating turnovers, interceptions.
Yeah, well, that's like I say, their secondary. They do give up the yards. I didn't in the games I watched. I didn't see anything turnover-wise. The turnovers for them were like they get down near the goal line and then they're punching at the ball and stuff like that. They're a gang tackle and rip at the ball kind of team. So the games I watched, I didn't see any real the interceptions or anything, but it was more like we're just trying to, when you're standing up and running or moving, they're trying to rip the ball. They're big on trying to get the head on the ball. That happened. What game was I watching? It was a Kansas City game where Kansas City is driving and they tackle the ball and they're ripping at it. And the next time, they get a guy their Allen gets his head on the ball and it knocks it out, so it's a fumble. So. Yeah, it's weird because, like you say, there's some big plays against this group. I just didn't see the turnovers that that you think that teams would try. They're creating it by trying to knock balls loose instead of maybe get those interceptions.
Nick, you brought up Tyron Smith. It looks like he's going to be back and playing this weekend. I want to go around the table. Give me your starting five. I want to take it from two different perspectives. One,
you said Tyron Smith. Tyron.
Did I say something else? Tyron.
No, I'm just confirming.
Yes. Tyron Smith appears to be ready to play this week. Right? So that being said, I like you to give me two different things. What should happen? I'm talking the starting five on the offensive line. What do you think will happen? So I need those two. Let's start first with you.
What game? This one, Jacksonville?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about this weekend.
I do think there's a difference.
You think there's a difference between this week and next week? Okay.
I do,
so you can give me four if you want to.
No, you start there. I mean, we can do it collectively. I mean, Jacksonville. Sure. I mean, I think Tyler Smith plays at left tackle. Tyler Smith plays at left tackle.
Okay.
Regardless what they do with Tyron, I think that they're going to ease Tyron into it. That's what I believe.
So you're saying starting, it won't be Tyron necessarily.
I don't think
that doesn't mean he doesn't necessarily get in and play
at some point. I think it's Tyler.
Tell me who your right tackle is.
Oh, we're gonna go that way. Okay.
Just tell me who your right tackle is going to be that you
for Jacksonville.
For Jacksonville.
Peters.
I think Peters.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. That's what's confusing.
So what do you
too.
think should happen? Let's talk about it from the first one. You should.
Okay, if Tyron is playing this weekend, and then you got Peters on the other side, I don't think they would both maybe play the whole game. So maybe now you got them starting, and then as the game goes, then you plug in Tyler to replace Tyron, and then maybe allow Josh Ball to, depending how the game is going. I know you're making that face.
Wait.
You play too much.
Wait.
I don't like Ball. I don't like Ball, but I'm saying it depends how the game is going, and if Jason Peters can go the whole game. That's, I think, the biggest question for a veteran guy like him and his age.
I like where you were going, but I'm going to switch it. I like left side. Don't even touch the left side right now.
Yeah.
Tyler, Connor, don't even touch that. Right side, Peters starts. Tyron comes in there. If that's what he's going to do, he comes in and plays, and then he ends up getting some work and then is ready to play the Eagles game, and your swing tackle is going to be Jason Peters. That's maybe, and then you don't even have to touch the left side.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'll tell you what, I like what you're doing, but I'm going to go with a combination of, I'm going to put Tyron Smith, I'm going to transition him easy. I'm going to try and make it where I'm not going to put him at right. He hadn't played all year.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say, I'm going to put him at the position that he naturally plays, which you're saying,
left
maybe left tackle this week, maybe right tackle next week once you get him back acclimated. But I think, to me, the way I would play it was Tyron Smith at left tackle, Connor McGovern at left guard, And then on the right side, I would take Peters and Smith. And maybe you acclimate Tyler Smith and acclimate him to get some right tackle work, but you're not taxing a 40-year-old man to have to play 65 plays. Right. So now
but you're having Tyron play the whole game?
I'm going to start off with that, yeah. Now, maybe that's that. I mean, I know it's a kind of a dangerous thing to deal with, but I feel like, though, the way he looks physically right now, I'm kind of like, let's go with this. I worry less about him not playing than I do a 40-year-old man playing 70 plays. That's how I'm looking at it right now. And I'm trying to help Tyler Smith not get overly exposed at right tackle if that's the case.
And, that's where I kind of look at it, and I say I would take kind of a hybrid of what you guys are saying. I would actually start Tyron on the right side. And I said it earlier in the week, I think that's the best option for me at right tackle. It's just because I get what you're saying, Brian. Like, he's been out, so you want to kind of get him back where he's most trusted.
I'm not messing with his footwork and all that stuff.
But for me, I look at it and say I think he's probably the person that if you want to have some muscle memory, at least he did it at some point for a period of time to where if he does it a little bit, it might come back to him. For the others, they are working from a point of not having done it, like literally not having done it enough to have any muscle memory at all. So for me, I think I would go with Tyron at right. I would stick with Tyler at left. And what I would do in this game is I would actually bring Peters in at right tackle some just to spell. Because, again, I don't want Tyron to play the whole game. Yeah. I don't want Jason to play the whole game. Right. So, for me, I kind of am using those two guys over on the right side, and it gives me an opportunity to give Jason some reps there, see how he does on the right. Because if I want him to be my swing, I want him to be able to play right as well. And it gives me an opportunity to give Tyron some opportunities at the right tackle spot, get him back acclimated, and my hope is that by next week, we can roll in with him being on the right side. And the great part I love about it is I still keep developing Tyler Smith as my left tackle because he's my left tackle of the future.
I think Tyler Smith's getting wore down myself.
Yeah, his last game wasn't
his last
best.
Couple of games they've been a little rough. Yeah,
I was gonna say that scenario really scares me because you mentioned muscle memory, and I'm not gonna call Tyron Smith fragile because he's a beast and a machine. But
he's fragile.
If you're mentioning muscle memory, keep him at the most recent position he's been at, and
that's my
his
argument.
Brain and his body can remember and work out. Because any little thing that's outside of his quote unquote comfort zone, I think makes him more prone to an error or him slipping, or maybe he didn't turn his feet or foot where he needed to be, and then now. Because this is a guy that got injured at practice.
Yeah.
So I'm saying keep him where he's best at and don't even risk any possibility of mistake or something that he's not accustomed to.
I get that. What I don't know, because I've never played left tackle, and I haven't played right tackle either, actually.
No, you haven't.
What I do look at is it like riding a bike, right? I went and rode a bike about a year ago. I had not ridden a bike probably in 30 years.
Did your butt hurt?
No, it didn't. I was fine. but literally the first minute felt a little awkward. By minute 2, it was like, this is what I do. Like
Derek, I asked this like a few weeks ago, and you were the one who said, no, it's very different from this side
It
to
is.
this side.
But what I'm saying is the muscle memory. And it is different. It is. It's very different. But my point is, if he's done it before, and if it's like riding a bike to where all it takes is a little bit for you to then, for your body to remember, I remember what this feels like, then it is easier. It's much easier for him in that instance than, say, Jason Peters, who's never done it. He doesn't have the muscle memory. So he's having to build that muscle memory from scratch rather than somebody like Tyron, who has done it before for a period of time. Yeah. So maybe his body can just, after a little bit of time, can say, oh, yeah, I remember this. This feels natural to me, right? That's all I'm saying. Because I do think it's a big difference left to right.
If you,
I don't know. I'm going to go look today.
I mean, I'm wondering.
I'm going to go check that out.
I'm going to go get in trouble today.
Yeah, go.
Maybe I need to just walk by the window today and just, I'll come over to your office. I'll come over to your desk and I'll just kind of hang out and kind of just casually look out the window.
See where they have him practicing. Because I think that will tell you, I mean, I think we'll have it open to the media, but that would say a lot.
I mean, I get it. I've never played either left tackle or right tackle either. No, I haven't. But the thing is just block the SOB in front of you. I mean, seriously. I mean, like, you see, you drop step to the right. This guy's Josh Allen's rolling around here. Block the dude.
That's nice to say, Nick, but I mean, the coaches have even talked about like the left and right side players. I think there is something to it.
I get
really
it.
do.
There is something to it. There's also something to just the heat of the moment. Jason Peters, with the game on the line, goes out there,
True.
muscle memory or not, block this dude and make sure he doesn't hit Dak.
And that works for a few plays. Does that work when you have a full game where you're playing against a team that knows you're out of position and that knows, okay, here's what we're going to do to make it hard for him?
I'll trust whatever Jacksonville wants to throw at a right tackle, Jason Peters. I'll trust Jason Peters being out on the practice field for a full week working at it. I trust that better because if he can do that, just
what
based
about
off of
what about
adrenaline,
the week after that against Philadelphia?
If he doesn't have adrenaline to go block those dudes, then
no, adrenaline will get you through the first series. Will it get you through all the series? That's the point where you start wondering, like. Adrenaline got ball through 28 plays, right, Brian?
That's what I was about to say. Adrenaline can help Josh Ball get through it. Will Josh Ball, the only gold jacket he's going to wear is this one, probably, okay?
He can't fit that.
I mean, probably not, but that's okay. But what I'm saying is Hall of Famers figure it out, and I think they can.
Absolutely. And that's all you got right now.
To see Tyron Smith and Zach Martin on the same side blocking.
Yeah.
That would be kind of fun.
Look, man, how many? Somebody, I saw an article this morning. Was that on our website? It was somewhere.
You don't read our website.
I know. I do read. I saw it on Twitter. That's why I'm asking where it was. But it was saying something to the effect of how many teams have had the benefit of having 3 Hall of Famers on their offensive line on the field at the same time. Yeah. That's what Dallas is looking at. Now, of course, you question about the age and all that stuff, but still, it's 3 Hall of Famers, bona fide Hall of Famers that'll be on the field together on the offensive line.
I know that Will McClay and that group's already kind of looking at the 2023 draft when they're offensive linemen. If there's a guy named Tyler or Smith or Connor, put them off the board in the box. And we're just tired of them. I mean, we got 2 Tylers and 2 Smiths on the team. Like,
it's too hard.
Shit.
I'll tell you what you need.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How you feel about this?
I'll tell you the thing about it is, whatever you do, I would test it now, and then go with it in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't jack around to try. This game in Jacksonville, I don't think is going to be easy. Is Dallas better?
Be a tough game.
It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a fight. Just be ready for that. That they are playing for something down there. I know their head coach. They're excited about it. They know they're going to be probably a road team in their own stadium. But, that coach knows about what it takes to play against the Dallas Cowboys.
And they're a tough, pesky team. That's the thing,
Yeah, with that being said, though, you better kind of figure out what you're going to do with Josh Sweat, Fletcher Cox, Linval Joseph, Hargrave, Reddick, Graham. That's where you get quit.
Yeah.
That's going to be –
Is he back?
I don't know.
He's on injured reserve.
Oh, well.
But that's what you better – whatever you're working on –
Talk about Dan Quinn.
Yeah, whatever you're working on right now, you better make sure it's getting ready for Christmas Eve.
But 30 points is not going to win this game against Jacksonville. I don't believe.
Really?
I don't believe so.
You think they're going to need a 40 burger?
Yes, I do.
50 brisket.
Yeah, I think they're going to need to score some points in this game. There's no doubt about it. So get up there. 35.
Quarterback's playing well for them. Really is.
Let's take our final break. We'll come back. Let's get some questions. We'll be right back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field. United Ag and Turf. With John Deere Zero Turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
This sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is. It's a non-fungible token.
Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The The Bank of America Community Homeownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America NA, Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
James Wright is your 2022 Cowboys Fan of the Year. James brings the spice to every Dallas Cowboys game.
Bone
and now
Crush Jimmy.
He needs James Wright.
Oh.
And now he needs you to help him bring it to the Super Bowl. Vote for James Wright to be given the ultimate title of NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, by casting your vote at NFL.com/Fan of the Year.
Welcome back. Final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by Miller Lite.
No, I'm thinking about Parcells.
Parcells and Captain. I knew you were.
Oh, Captain Morgan pose?
Yeah, when he no clothes on in a locker room.
Stop.
Oh,
I don't need that image. Stop.
See, I almost threw up on my mouth again.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Welcome to Dallas.
I knew when you said Captain Morgan what you were thinking of.
That's terrible. Okay.
All right. Let's focus. Let's focus. All right. Melvin Brownlee has a question for us. His question is, where is Takk McKinley? What's going on with Takk McKinley? We expect to see him play much.
Ground about a week ago after
yes, he
Tyron
was.
threw him down.
Yeah, Tyron introduced him to the ground.
He's on the practice squad, and they haven't called him up yet, and I guess we can wait and see what Dorrance Armstrong's ability is going to be, availability. Sorry.
What are you hearing about him? Because he had the boot on Sunday. He told you that it didn't seem like it was a big deal.
Didn't seem like a big deal. And the boot's off, and
he
was kind of running from the media. They were trying to talk to him, and he was kind of swimming through people.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's true. Media's not that quick, so he made it. But
post.
He's limited. And this is the big day of practice. So we'll find out this week. I have a feeling he's going to play Dorrance. So that means McKinley probably stays on the practice squad.
Yeah, I was hearing the same thing. Nick's absolutely right about that. They're going to try and get him through practice, but it was likely that he was going to be able to play. But they had to get him through practice first.
All right, let's take a question from Mark Marshall. Does Damone Clark have the ability to blitz?
What do you think?
Yes, I think he does. But what they want to do is, I think he's, the coverage aspect for him has been a little shaky. And, awareness, I think, is, something that I wouldn't say that it's not it's like he doesn't have a feel for when he turns, what he's seeing, or where the guys are behind him and how he needs to adjust. You watch Leighton Vander Esch play. I know Vander Esch is a veteran. Like, play, drop, turn, look, carry, and Clark's a little bit of that. Oh, now I got to go.
Is that all about the fact that he just hasn't?
He doesn't have a lot of experience.
He just hasn't played.
That's the problem. But he's getting reps. And people but now Barr is kind of picked his game up a little bit since he's been out. So now it's kind of like, okay, if you kind of split them, it's fine. But yeah, Clark can blitz. I don't think he has that. I don't think he's just more power. He's just he doesn't have that wiggle like you want when you watch Parsons rush. It's like he's got that power, but he's also got that little bit of that move to get you off balance. And I think Clark is more of a straight ahead, hope the back is on him, that he could just overpower the back and get home. But yeah, you don't see him do it very much, that's for sure.
I have a question actually from Nick in Frisco. Is this Leighton Vander Esch's best season?
I'll tell you what.
Career?
Yeah, he's
better than his rookie year.
I'm asking.
He was a Pro Bowl his rookie year. I will say this about him. In those games where it turns into you got to stop the back, they have nothing else but a runner. He's a champ. And I said about the coverage stuff, like when the ball has gone to the perimeter, he's shown burst to get out there. Even when the ball's thrown out there, get burst and knock the guy to keep it. Oh, now it's 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1. He's tackled really, really well. I think early in the year with some of the perimeter runs they had, he was trying to make up for guys playing around him. You're like, okay, I'm now trying to do my responsibility, your responsibility, as we have a soft corner over here.
I think he finally overcame the neck injury because
confident,
just the confidence. I think even last year you would see him, and it's just he didn't have that willingness to actually go and tackle. There was always some kind of hesitation or a few steps behind, and now he seems like he's comfortable again, to maybe where the neck is in his mind, not necessarily physically bothering him, but also mentally, where he can just play freely and move around.
You mentioned that. You mentioned about him. It was funny last week in the game, him and Clark, and this is how well Van Der Esch is playing, though. Clark, both of them see it at the same time, but you see the young guy just run right past. Leighton's hustling to get over, but Clark covers like 5 yards behind, and now he's covering to go get the ball. Leighton would have made the play. Clark just read it at the same time and went to him. So, that's what you're hoping, that these linebackers continue to kind of to play that way.
The one thing I wonder about with that, though, is I don't think it's a coincidence that we've seen over the last few weeks Leighton's play really elevate, and it's also at a time when Hankins was playing really well for the Cowboys. I wonder how much that's going to affect his ability to play, because he's been free. He's been free to run because Hankins is gobbling up double teams. I mean, just gobbling them up and not moving with it. If that changes and now you're washing out the defensive tackle and he's now in the lap of the linebacker, I think that's been one of the biggest challenges for Leighton Van Der Esch for much of his career.
Let's see what Anthony Rush does, who they signed on the practice squad. And I was talking to some guys around the league about him real quick as we finish up here. This guy's kind of had a weight problem in his life. He gets up to like 380, and then he gets to 360, and then now they're thinking he's like 350 pounds. And I know two of my scout buddies are like, listen, we worked him out before he went to Philadelphia. And they said that he really, really is a powerful guy, and he can play the run really well, and he plays across the center. And when I mean play across the center, he's just not standing in one spot letting the grass die under his feet. He's moving, and that's what Hankins has been able to do. Hankins has been active to where he's moving around, so now he's taking up blocks, and he's moving around. So maybe that with Rush, we'll see if they can get my guy said, listen, sign this guy, get him ramped up, he can help you.
This is a massive man. He's 6'5", 350 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a big,
well, he was 380 one time. They said he was too heavy when they were working him out, and they sent him away. That's why Philadelphia cut him off the practice squad, because he got too heavy, and now he's down to 350 from 380. And they're hoping that, but my guys were super, super positive about him as a possible signing.
It's a sad part about the Hankins injury is that, they made that trade on October 25th, 9 days after they lost to the Eagles. And they couldn't stop the run in the middle of the field. So they were bringing him in to try to help with that.
Yeah.
You stop Sanders and all that, and you guys go hit Hurts and whatever he's doing, and they really wanted to control the middle. So not saying that they can't, but Hankins, I think, was brought in to try to help in that, and he has helped, but it's unfortunate he won't play in that game.
Yeah, that's what they needed him for.
Yeah.
Maybe he comes back around for the playoffs if you have to face them again.
Yep.
All right, appreciate you guys joining us. We're back tomorrow. We're going to wrap this thing up, let you know what we think is going to happen this weekend. Until then, for Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Amber Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This is The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?